The NFL season is back and opened up with a lot of great offensive performances. One of the top was the Houston Texans. In their 2024 debut, they finished with 417 total yards and a balanced 204 passing and 213 rushing. So let's take a look at how they schemed up the Colts and started off the season on the right path. It all starts with the run game, and Joe Mixon led the NFL with 159 yards. Let's take a look at some of his best runs and what schemes they were using to get his big plays. The Texans' number one run in week 1 was wide zone. Specifically, they really liked running wide zone weak. So here the Texans are going to be in a bunch set and they're going to run it away from it. A few weeks ago, I detailed the wide zone weak and why it's used so prevalently in the NFL. I'll link that in the description if you'd like to read more. But the big reason here is this wide defensive end. This is where we're wanting to attack over here. That and 3-by-1. So more than likely, the Colts are going to shift their defense to defend that set. So we're going to get a base reach here, but more than likely with that sort of wide technique by the end, there's going to be no reach, and he's just going to end up kicking him. We're going to get a double team by these two, trying to stretch horizontally there to the linebacker. That guard's going to slightly help the tackle there as they get horizontal movement to that linebacker, and then these guys are cutting off on the backside. Mixon is getting the ball and attacking a ghost tight end there and reading that block there. He knows more than likely on a wide zone weak play that ball is going back inside. That defensive end's not going to let that ball get out there. So as soon as he cuts, he's going to find his first daylight and get north and south as quickly as possible. You see that penetration forces him to cut back but gives him a lane and a nice run. Here the Texans are basically in the same set. They've still got the 3 receivers in a close proximity. And they've still got the wide defensive end that they're wanting to attack. So same play, almost identical outcome. He's going to press this to get everyone flowing horizontally that way. And he's going to find a nice cutback lane. You can see the defensive end's clearly outside. The Texans have done a great job of getting that horizontal movement. And there's another seam for Mixon to pick up a big play. This time we're going to get wide zone strong and from a gun position instead of the under center. The Texans are running it strong this time instead of weak, and that means they're running it to a tight end. But not only do they have a tight end, but they have a fullback as well and a receiver cracking, which gives them a lot of numbers. So the tight end is going to arc for anything on the edge, and they're going to get a crack from a receiver. The fullback is responsible for this linebacker right here, which gives the lineman angles in the box. So you're going to get a reach from the tackle, kind of like that weak side play before, and we're going to get a double from these two to that linebacker or whoever shows, and a double from these two for whoever shows next. The running back is still getting the ball and reading the blocks on the perimeter. He's able to get to the edge, and the fullback kicks the linebacker. With the ground game going, C.J. Stroud did his part in the passing game. Though finishing 9th in yards, he had the 5th best quarterback rating of the week. Let's take a look at some of his best plays. So in this example, the Colts are bringing the blitz. To this 3 receiver side, they have a triangle concept. So you're going to get this guy running inside on a curl. You're going to get this guy on a deep out. And this guy here is the deep route. He's going to run a curl. This is meant to isolate the flat defender and give you that triangle read. The Colts distribute that really well and are all over it. Stroud quickly moves off of this concept and gets to the backside slant. This is an impressive throw by Stroud because this guy's bracketed here with 2 guys. But he sees a small window here and fits it just inside the safety. Here down near the goal line, Stroud finds a wide open receiver for a touchdown pass. Down near the goal line, most offenses are going to expect man coverage. So when you build concepts, they're going to have man beaters built in. And that's what they have to the left here. This single receiver here is going to run a corner route, and this back's going to motion into the flat to create a smash concept. When playing man coverage most of the time, defenders are going to have inside leverage, making these outbreaking routes a good possibility. On the backside, they have an answer versus the zone. So if this safety bails out, they've got a dig coming in here to the middle of the field. Then they have an out route with this number one receiver attacking the middle of the field. This gives Stroud an option if for some reason they're in zone, which is what happens here. See, he quickly checks that man beater side, sees that it's outnumbered, and gets his eyes. Middle of the field's wide open. He delivers for a touchdown. It's great to scheme up great route concepts, but the mark of a true elite quarterback is to be able to create plays out of nothing and extend plays with his leg. Here are some examples of Stroud creating something out of nothing. Here, the offensive line does a great job of protecting, and Stroud stays patient in the pocket, steps up, and finds an open receiver. So the Texans here are going to run an out and up concept that turns into more of a four verts. You see these two safeties do a good job of staying over the top, and Stroud can't initially find anybody open. He stays patient and then finds a gap in the protection, steps up, and the receiver works back to him, and they're able to complete a big pass. This time, the Colts bring some pressure, and the protection breaks down, but Stroud's able to scramble outside the pocket and throw back across his body to an open receiver. So Texans are running a dagger concept. So this slot here has got the seam, and you're going to get an outside release dig here and then a dig on the backside. And this fullback's going to release out for a check down in the flat. The safety is able to play over the top of that deep seam route, and with four underneath defenders, these digs don't really have a lot of space to work into. Dagger takes a long time to develop, and his protection breaks down before he can get through his progression, so he flushes, and it becomes a scramble drill. Though a pretty dangerous throw, and oftentimes quarterbacks are told not to throw across their body, you can clearly see all these guys are running past. If he can get the ball in the middle of the field, there's less of a risk and a chance for a big play. And that's what he does to create another explosive pass. The Texans are picking up where they left off from a year ago, are definitely a team to watch in the AFC South. Let's see if they can continue to be one of the top offenses in the NFL.